And we're starting. So welcome everyone to this tag class. Definitely, it's going to be I think a really rich time and opportunity to share, and I'm excited for it anyway. Okay, so first of all, let's just set our space. And I know all of you come already with a commitment to bring good juju into our space. So we're meeting here on the ground of sacred sovereignty. Our intention is to learn, to share, to expand, to know that we know, and at the same time we don't know, that we know there's more and more in order to create greater and greater good, autonomy, freedom for humanity from this point forward, as well as taking that same healing backward in time. So just imagine yourself, your home, your land, everyone you love, cocooned in the sixfold field: protection, sovereignty, invisibility, clear connection to the divine. All of that will help you bring vision, passion into meaningful manifestation in your life. I honor Gaia for her willingness to let us play out our dysfunctions and our disease in order to heal them on her surface, and commit to her as well as to humanity that it's time to drop quickly that which has been damaged, and that the restoration to our divine family's agenda and Gaia's true nature manifest. We invite into our space all of our teams of integrity, our causal teams, our healing teams, our planning teams, all that you have created and called to you, that they be here with us, guiding us, informing us and our space. We stand as souls in female bodies on the divine triad of Gaia, Sophia, and Grace, but partnered with the divine masculine triad also of spirit, heart, and earth. With all of our allies here, our insight, our curiosity, our safety is assured. And our circle is set, anchored, and open for our work together. And so it is. So just take a moment to breathe and allow yourself to feel the energies that are there for you. Being on that space, that sacred platform, up out of the dysfunction and crippledness of earth energies. And an unseen community of allies that are so trustworthy, so clear and loving. Once you feel their presence, then bring that energy down through your crown chakra, out your heart, and flow that energy heart to heart to heart around the circle, so that we're present, anchored in Gaia, the authority voice of Sophia, to keep us absolutely in sovereignty, so that grace, that heart love, is free to light us and our way. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself back to awareness, being here in this moment of time. So we'll go around the circle and we'll place ourselves into the circle, along with anyone you would want to have in that healing space, in that temple of divine good, either name or number. any life forms, whatever they might be, any situations by number or name, personal and galactic, global. And then what is a quality that's in this field, which has everything? What is a quality within this field that you would like to call forth so that its vibration, its song is felt? And we'll go around that with a tag process. Tag. So I'll begin. Sharon Raji Maynard here on Whidbey Island. The sun is out. I'm home, but I'm tired. I think it finally caught up to me. And I want to play 16 people in the circle for healing. I want to play 3 personal situations. All of the manifesting power over domination, violence that's on the planet to be absolutely extinguished. And the quality that I want is joyful understanding. And I'll pass to Susan with the sun in her face.
Very blessed today. We actually broke the 30-degree mark here in the Midwest. It was glorious. It got to 45. So I've been basking in the sun's rays. I'm here in Byron, Illinois, in the Midwest. I'd like to add 13 people for healing. And the quality that I'd like to bring in is transcendence, so that we transcend all that no longer serves us with the light of the sun. And I will tag Arlie.
Good morning. I'm Arlie in New Zealand. I would like to bring 18 people to the circle and my cat. 4 personal situations. And I want to bring world hunger in. The quality I would like to bring to the circle is deep connection among each other and to our guides. And I will choose Diana.
Hi, thank you. I'm Diana. I'm here in Linden, Washington, and the sun is shining and we have shifted. I feel it. The birds feel it. The bugs feel it. We're shifting into spring and it's wonderful. And I am just going to bring all of my connections and their connections into the circle because I should probably make a list and have a number, but add it to my list. So all of my connections and their connections into the circle. 7 personal situations. And the quality that I would like to bring into the circle is integration of all that has been learned. And as it settles into the cells and into the vibrations that go out, and just like word integration just comes to mind. So that's me, and I will call upon Deborah.
Thank you, Diana. I'd like to bring in 26 people, 7 personal situations, a cat, banking situation, world banking, and the alliances that are starting to form with like China, Russia, Iran, in opposition to US, Japan, and South Korea having military exercise and different, who's going to be the world dominator things, and those push pulls. And I'd like to bring in joy. And I will call on Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer in Anthem, Arizona. I'd like to bring in 47 individuals, 2 fluffies, 1 at the moment that's kind of being naughty. For healing, yeah, I definitely want to bring in my father. My father, we had a real scary situation happen this week. He actually passed away, but was revived with CPR. He was like, really horrible thing, but the right place with the right people. It was kind of a remarkable miracle. I said, Dad, you have an angel on your shoulder for sure. But global situations, I think of war and violent things happening around the world, and also those around the world who are suffering, even people who are not in a war situation, just people who are suffering. Personal, just, one I can think of. And my word I want to bring into the circle is tender joy. Makes me think of my father, very tender man. So tender joy. I would like to tag Susie.
Hi, I'm Susie in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd like to bring in 18 people, 5 personal, 2 four-legged, all global issues, and unconditional love. And I will tag Audrey.
Hi, my apologies for being late. I'm Audrey and I'm in Wyoming, PA. And I would like to bring in 29 people, world situations, all the children of the world. And the quality I'd like to bring in is loving tenderness. And I'm not sure who had not gone yet. Tara?
Hi, I'm Tara in Anthem, Arizona, and I would like to bring in 34 people, 4 four-leggeds as usual, all threads of negative energy that exists on the planet, and the 3 personal situations, and my word today is awakening. And I think, is that everyone? Julie, did you go?
Denise has not gone yet.
Oh, okay. How about Julie? Because I already said her name.
Oh yeah, Julie hasn't gone yet. Good.
I'm Julie and I'm from Utah. I would like to bring in 12 people into the circle today and 2 personal situations. And the quality that I would like to bring would be compassion and stability. And let's see, Denise, I'll go with you.
Hello, thank you. I'm Denise. I am in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. I would like to bring in 12 personal situations, 7 global situations, 39 people, and 6 four-legged. And the quality is self-love and self-respect. And how once we all have that and we maintain that and we honor that, how that can go out into reaching other people's hearts and souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Tara, would you speak your quality again? Because I was busy writing other things down.
Oh, no problem. Awakening.
Oh, yes, that's right. Awakening. Okay. So we've asked our teams and beyond to move all of those individuals, named and unnamed, into that healing temple space of divine good, with the intention that what is preventing them from being whole and healthy, resonating as a soul frequency of good, be dissolved and doors open for their understanding, awakening, and expansion. And we ask for these qualities or songs, harmonics to fill us and sing to us as we're in circle today. Joyful understanding, self-love and self-respect, transcendent with the light of the sun, tender joy, deep connections to our guides and to each other, an integration of our learned wisdom, joy, unconditional love, loving tenderness, awakening, compassion, and stability. And we move our consciousness into those frequencies, asking them to fill us, teach us, and be with us through the week, not just for this circle. And so it is. So today, we're going to start by having any kind of report in about the suggestion that you, with your accountability partner, find a way to either work on yourself and share, or work on each other and share. And if did it happen, did it not happen? And it doesn't matter if it didn't happen. If it did happen, we want to know that too. So I'm just going to open the field, and for the next few minutes, anybody who wants to speak to what their experience was, either what they felt when they were worked on or did the work, or what came up that might have prevented them from doing the work, any and all of that. So popcorn style, just watch for where the mute button comes off. And when you're complete with your sharing, just say, I'm complete, and then we know we won't speak over you. Okay, time's yours.
I would like to talk about the healing I was given by Susie. I didn't even know that she was working on me. I must say that I wasn't thinking about this assignment, and yet I noticed changes, the kind of changes that you cannot just kind of let them slip by. It was like a funk in the head sort of changes, both in the main problem that I had discussed with her and in some issues that physical issues that I thought were definitely a change for the worse and going to be around for a while. I want to say thank you to Susie for doing this work on me, and say these tag techniques work, and there's no two ways about it. I mean, I wasn't looking for it. I didn't have to make these changes up. They were like funks in the head to me. So that's my feedback. And I am complete.
And I guess I will follow up after Arlie. Same here. I discussed with Arlie what I've been going through and what I'm trying to change and write a new story. And all of a sudden, Wednesday night, I felt this kind of a good disconnect to what I'm currently struggling with. And it has to do with that work. And little by little, over a couple days, it just was like stronger. And it was almost kind of, I don't know, a weird, bizarre feeling to have this disconnect for something that is like so painful for me every day. But it was a good disconnect. And then I think yesterday or a couple days ago, when we touched base, I mean, it was yesterday, she was telling me everything she did. I was like, no way. It was like perfect and exactly what I was feeling. And the things that she reported back to me it was just unbelievable. My hair on my arm stood up because it was just so amazing to me that I felt it and experienced her energy work on me. It was just the timing and everything was just amazing. It was so amazing. So, Harley, it's awesome. Thank you.
So Jennifer and I are going to work this week because of just everything going on. So we're going to connect this week and we'll report back.
Well, I myself and my partner, I think we kind of time slipped by. We forgot. So thanks for the reminder, Sharon. You sent the email there, was Diana and I, but I did a session on myself today. And, it's interesting because during the class time, we talked about, write down your comments and tell your partner what things that you would want to work on if you were a client. And in 1 week, things have changed for me. And I think, it's always like a certain situation that, I'm always concerned about, that I need to work through. But then I just realized, the most important thing is me. I haven't, I never make time for myself to like exercise or do any self-love or do anything that feels fun to me or for joy, because I'm constantly doing a laundry load. Well, if I spend time doing this, then I won't get my website done by the end of the week. And if I take an hour and a half to do this, then I'm going to be behind. So I'm constantly doing that. And so I thought to myself, my friends bought me coloring books for my birthday. They were like positive affirmations and stuff for business owners. So every night I've just been, I don't know, like an hour before I go to sleep, coloring in there and listening to, spiritual podcasts and things. And I really am enjoying that time. So I decided to work on moving blockages out that made me keep thinking I don't have time for myself or deserve to do anything fun. So only time will tell to see how well of a job I did, but we'll have to let you know. And I'm complete.
Denise, you're unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yes, let's see. I was at Deb's house, for 4 days, Wednesday through Saturday. And my assigned partner and I were assigned late, and we did not get to connect, and I'm still open to doing that. But Deb and I did a tremendous amount of work. We were doing tag work every day. And I followed through on the mother-daughter theme, which was really important for me and had started and then was definitely pertinent for what was done in class last week. And it was just amazing to come up with my assigned vibration and also Deb's in relationship to mother-daughter, and then going back in time. It was tremendously insightful to understanding the complexity of my relationship with my mother. And I feel like, I feel like I'm in a different place. She's deceased now, and I feel much gentler in my heart and able to, I don't know, I don't like to use that word forgiveness. I think it's overused and misunderstood and misinterpreted. But I feel a different connection to my mother. And this was very important in my life because there was a lot of toxicity there, and it affected me. So very powerful work. We did work on some of Deb's family members, some of my family members, and we just had great fun. It was just great fun, and it's just wonderful work. So I am complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Sometimes I might give you an assignment or I say assignment. I really like to say suggestion, but in class. But then sometimes life shows up and gives you a different way to apply what you're, and
Yeah.
life's quite a teacher, and it is the journey we're on. That whatever is presented to us gives us the opportunity to see what we know, apply what we know, and then see the impact and also what more we might want to learn. Anyone else want to share? Oh, there's Deborah. Okay, Deborah.
Yeah, Susan and I were partners this week, and we worked on each other separately and then got together. And boy, she was right on. I mean, it was just arrow to the, the bullseye. So that was pretty amazing. That was really good. And then the work with Denise, it was just fun to do it, but also timely for things we were doing. And I want to share that one of them we did was a male family member. It went back in time, and the male family member and the female were there. And so ended up when we called in the Sophia Circle, we also called the men of the village in
Mhm.
and asked them to send energy to the women and empower their Sophia strength. And that was really interesting. They were all excited and it was pretty powerful. So, and thanks for Susan, she just was right on target.
So as Deb said, we worked together. There was a really beautiful gifts all along for me to receive. My issue was mother-daughter relationship and resentment. And through Deb's work, I was able this week to get past that. It just kind of like melted away. I always focus on Penelope and making sure Penelope's healthy. She has everything she needs. And realizing and looking back that I've discounted and ignored in many ways Tracy, and just bypassed her with this idea that, well, she never listens to me anyway. She discounts everything I say. So why bother kind of energy. So I was sitting this week and all of a sudden I just started crying and sobbing. And I'm like, I really, just looking at her as an individual and where I would, resent that issue that, hey, what about me? I'm over here and, everything's over here. So the other day I sent her money to go get her hair done, get her nails done, go get a massage. She hasn't done anything for herself in 6 years, nor has she had the time to do it. So that was like an icebreaker. And I just started to sob and think I have to be more, the resentment within me was, I've given you all this and you ignore me. So I'm done and I'm walking away, and that just all kind of melted away. And so then she called and she actually told me I was right about something. And Deb had seen a lightning bolt come down from Sophia in the past life journey. So I kind of turned around. I was looking for the lightning bolt. Where was that? And then the issue that I was helping with Deb had so much relevance in my own life that it helped me solve a mystery in my own life. It allowed me to go back to a point and say, oh, that's when that happened to me. And I worked on letting go of all those issues that ignited my starting point. So it was really powerful. So thank you, Deb. That was amazing, and a lot of transformation and transcendence in a very short time.
Hey, Susan,
Yes.
some probably in the class do not know how Penelope, how Tracy, how that, what when you're using the names, we know who've known you a long time. But
Oh, I'm
what
sorry.
was the dynamics that you were speaking to?
Tracy is my daughter. She's 38. And Penelope is my granddaughter, who is 6. They are both intuitives, but they do not know it. They work in a field. My granddaughter is on the spectrum, sensory spectrum, like magnified. So I have always, since she's been born, focused on her, making sure that energetically she gets the help and support, and working on that, and not really working on my relationship with my daughter. So starting to work obviously with the ancestors and to go back in and heal those timelines, the mother-daughter. As one of your classes was taking back the matriarch of the family. And so I stepped into that role and took back as the matriarch. And this was one of the keys to taking back that matriarch, is to recognizing the wounds between her and I, and how much that can just heal all 3 of us, and then go back into the epigenetics of it. So yeah, there was just massive revelations as I sat with all the information from the ancestors.
And I'll add to that too. The thing that brought Susan into my life many years ago, actually, was my book, Remembering Earth Mission by the Ancient Ones. And she said, what, you work with the Ancient Ones too? I think she's the only one I've known who, and her, you know, she had that same connection or title of her team of the Ancient Ones. Okay, anything else anyone would want to say?
Like Tara said, the week slipped by and Tara reached out and reminded me that we were like, oops. And I realized like, wow, what amazing experiences you all had. And I realized like, you know, it was like, I'm feeling rusty, but it was also like this, like my habitual like performance anxiety and, you know, like, so Tara, if you're still open to working together or me working on you, but yeah, that's so, but yeah, like really moved by what everyone experienced and part of me being a loner kind of thing that I'm trying to let go of. So anyway, so if you're
I'm
open to that.
perfectly open to it. Just text
Yay.
me.
Okay. Might take me sometime next week, but let's connect. Okay.
You know, part of I think a big part of our growth is to share our experiences as we go along, because then we get excited for, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Or yes, here's another idea. So thank you all for sharing. Orlando, hi, we were just sharing what experiences might have come up last week. Were you here and had an accountability buddy to, okay, then we were just talking about everyone was just talking about how powerful it was to have work done on you, even though you might not have known in the moment it was being done. It reminds me of, you know, in our Deep Roots course, which we've worked on, work is done long distance on the other, because you know who are you trapped in with? So the one who's consciously participating, doing work on themselves and learning, but then TAG facilitators focused on the other without any kind of interaction, just did weekly work. And now you've been able to hear and or experience the power of that unconscious, deeply long distance work. Some of you didn't even know in the moment that it was happening, and yet you experienced it. So I wanted to point that out. And then I also wanted to point out what Susan said, you know, in the galactic landscape, in the galactic Odyssey landscape, it is the soul in a female body. It's our responsibility to say, I'm the owner of this space. It might be this body. It might be my bedroom if that's all I have. It might be the house, but it's definitely, if you have a family, it's the family. I am the matriarch. I am the designer of the culture of this family. And because I'm the owner, I am the designer of the culture of this family, the values of this family tribe are, and whatever they are, their generosity, support, a changing mindset, or whatever you say, you are the one who is designing the space for the platform on which your family is nourished. And if you grew up in a patriarchy like I did, and like most out there in the world, we are in a culture where the man designs and you obey, or the man designs and you help that happen. It's totally backward. And I think it was you, Susan, or who was it, Deborah, because the man's role, the male role in a male bodysuit, is to bring in all that love, good juju, send it through the heart into the family, into the community, to assure and support that the plan has enough juju to happen. Might be money juju, it might be muscle juju, it might be hugs at night juju, So a lot of things just out of the conversation you just had, I want to affirm. Okay, so now we're going to take a 5-minute break because this is the only break we're going to have. Stretch, get water, breathe in. And then when we come back, which is at 15 after, I'm going to get into Jennifer's journey as it relates to what we're doing. Anybody want to say anything else before we take the 5-minute break? Okay, I'll see you back in 15 after the hour. Okay, everyone. So as we go along, whatever notes you want to take, how does it apply to you or your situation? Make notes of that. Yeah, because this is not just about where Jennifer is or what has been happening for her, but it's kind of a bigger picture of the whole healing journey possibilities. Okay, so just taking a pause, getting cameras back on. So my daughter Jennifer, she's my number 3 daughter. Have 7, and she was born tongue-tied. I should have known. I now would know that meant something. I didn't back then. I didn't know much of anything back then except babies were wonderful, and I loved being pregnant, and I wanted lots of them. So Jennifer also developed sugar diabetes when she was pregnant with my granddaughter. So she has also had sugar diabetes for a while. And so I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 now, that there were some lumps detected in her breast here on Whidbey Island, and she went in for surgery, and the oncologist, they removed both breasts and said, we caught it really early. There's really nothing. I think you should be fine. Okay. And we did moderate work because it was kind of early on. And so the intensity that could have been done then, even energetically, wasn't done. Okay, it just beginning, but not much. So it was when she moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to be around her grandson, my great grandson, a couple of years ago, that she discovered that the cancer had come back. And I don't know the name of it. Arlie might know the name of it. I don't know the name of it, but it's the kind of cancer that if you have breast cancer, or Lantha might even know, and it comes back, then it's serious. It's really bad. And she was told that, if there was, maybe if she had a year to live, she'd be lucky, because it's one of the most aggressive kinds of cancer. So we got a little bit more serious with it at that point. So I'm going to leave it there for just a moment. With the tag work, we're playing on the galactic landscape. And I think it's important for us to understand the difference between the galactic landscape and what's out there in the world. So in the galactic landscape, the story is that we are all star beings. We come from family collectives that chose to birth from home or source or all that is, with the intention of experiencing a certain type of good. It might be joy, it might be emotional peace, it might be leadership, to experience something all good that's going to benefit themselves and their families and their collectives. And we're all spirits at that point. And because we were naive and didn't keep strong boundaries, those collectives who chose to dominate, be parasitic by nature, and use other people's energy for their own, came into our space and they disrupted everything because their presence of domination, violence, anything you want to do to have domination, caused the energy of our home to unbalance, and they're intentionally keeping it unbalanced. So love, fear is what we were experiencing because of their presence. Love, fear, not enough, not enough, powerlessness. And then there's this third energy, which was always called the outsider or domination energy, that generated programs and broadcasting and experiences to keep us in fear, imbalance, love, imbalance, not being able to get out of it. And we were dying. Like any parasitic hosts, our life energy was diminishing more and more and more. Our light was going out. And therefore, we came up with a plan to be on an Earth planet, on a physical planet, so that those energies of the outsiders or dominators could be seen. They were so slippery and they were so sneaky and there were so many lies going, they could lie so easily, that we wanted to be able to slow their energy down to discern and get rid of them. So we come to the earth with a very different purpose than most people will tell you. We are not here to learn and be good. We're not here to obey God and be, and then be able to go back home and live forever in that state because God somehow approves. That's not what we're here to do in the galactic world, in the galactic landscape. We are here to wake up to the fact that we're entrapped, to remember our divine nature, and our original choice was to do good and create good. And then to be aware that there was something keeping us trapped away from it, trapped into limit, trapped into disease, trapped into smallness. And then remember that, especially us in souls in female bodies, regain our authority voice to say, you will not be in my world. So when disease happens or situations of entrapment happens, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, or even intuitively, we get this feeling of offness, is an indication that something in our field needs to be paid attention to. And if it's in our field disrupting, causing disease, violence, imbalance, mental, physical, whatever, then what are the skills and what's the authority voice? And how do we not only just modify it, but to get rid of it at cause? So that's the model we've been playing under with Jennifer. The other part of that is knowing that we are multidimensionally connected. We are not just spiritual beings. We're just not a star soul. We are that, but we are in this earth experience, and therefore we have a physical dimension, we have a mental dimension, we have an emotional dimension, we have a spiritual dimension. And for those of us who play in the galactic, we have a galactic connection. So we're multidimensional beings. Anything in our energy field, positive or negative, will show up. It might show up first as an intuitive. If it isn't taught and worked with, then it will become, it will start to affect the way we feel, our emotions. It will start to impact our thinking. It will show up then in a physical way. Now, why is that important? Because when you understand that, you understand that healing isn't just about writing an affirmation to change your mind. It isn't even all about just doing woo-woo work. And it isn't all about just doing medical work. you have all these vibrational harmonics that are by different speed energies. You have all these different dimensional aspects that have already been impacted to some degree with both your negative and positive. So if you find yourself like Jennifer did with cancer, then cancer is not just showing up in physical tests. It's not just showing up in biopsies. It's not just physical. You have to assume that there's something in the mental region, in the emotional region, in the spiritual region, in the galactic region. So that's why, remember, first part of class, I gave you a chart so that you could put down your tools, and then you could decide which dimension it was most effective on. So if you put down massage, for some people, massage is most effective in their physical body. Doesn't mean it doesn't make a difference in the others because they're all interconnected. That's where it's first effective. For some, however, massage is first impactful in the emotions because it releases emotions. But if you only use massage because it's so good and feels so great, you won't have the kind of healing that you would if you said, okay, I'm going to make a difference. Physically, I'm going to change my diet and add exercise. And I'm going to set new goals. So I'm going to include my mental body. And then I'm also going to look at my fears and my anxieties around being whole in my emotional body. And then I'm going to use my team and my spiritual work to see what is in the spiritual unseen world. Maybe it's like group consciousness that needs to change. And then you're going to use tag workers to go even into the galactic worlds and say what's there, so that your integrated protocol is you do physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, galactic. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, galactic. Okay. So Jennifer, a year ago, that she was having a few symptoms that didn't seem to be so good. And so I felt to fly into Tulsa then. And I'm in the airport and we get the result of a brain scan. And the brain scan says, oh dear, something strange is going on here. And of course, we think immediately brain cancer because it's absolute possibility. So I find myself having to breathe myself back to plan A. Plan B, medically, she could die within a year or less, or maybe 3, but not probably more. I think they gave her a year and a half, maybe. That's plan B. And I'm not going to go up against plan B and say, fuck you, you're wrong, excuse me. I am going to use the authority to design a different outcome for Jennifer. So I did. So in doing that, and we have the right to do it because everyone in, all those souls in physical bodysuits have already made the choice to be whole. That was their original divine family agenda. They made the choice that they want to experience wholeness, goodness, benefit. That's a given. So they don't have to re-choose. They might have forgotten. They might be totally trapped in mud and disease. And it doesn't matter. At a soul level, that choice is in place. So I quiet myself down. And just like I tell you to do, quiet yourself down. I connect to my client, in this case, Jennifer's higher self and her causal team, which is in her healing team. And I think it was at that point, maybe last year or maybe just before last year, that I discovered something that we haven't talked about in tag 1 yet, but we're going to talk about it right now. We've talked about how in our birth plan, all of us bring in negative, I'll say negative karma, for lack of a better term. It's a collective of negative patterns, experiences, genetics. That might be your own personal, some of it might be female psyche, some of it you might pull out of the human psyche. You just put together a package that says, I'm going to bring this package of negative residue that's been left on the planet. I'm going to bring those patterns in with me for them to be healed. And the intention was that 90% of them are marked to be healed at a word, at a prayer, at a blessing, at an awareness. It was 90% would be eliminated by age 1. Now, that can be done when you're working in a culture, which we are not, in which it's totally understood that those mothers and those grannies and those aunties and even maybe some older sisters, cousins, know that their word declares and it is done. So they bless the babies, all the energies marked for removal, all of the patterns marked for removal, they bless them away, because the law says in a physical bodysuit, you have the ability, the right, and responsibility to declare and eliminate energy that's no longer needed or wanted, or maybe never was, like outsiders. It's a law. So that was not done with Jennifer because I didn't know. So that's one thing. And we talk about that with the 11th hour. That protocol is that work could be done at any time now. Okay. But this is something I haven't mentioned yet. And I discovered this for myself maybe 7 years ago. And then I began to be aware of it, of applying it more in TAG, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. Some of you might remember better than I. In our birth plan, we make an exit date. We make an exit date. And that says in the birth plan, on this date, I'm leaving the planet. Now, it might have been in the, when we were first on the planet, that we just said, okay, I'm getting on the plane. I'll see you guys later. And you take off. It wasn't death. I just don't believe it was death in the way we do death now. We do death now and crush the physical body so that we can be released. Make this body so painful, make this mind so painful that we want out, But that's not the way we had intended way back when. Nevertheless, we made a way to get off of this planet. We're not intended to, especially as it got more and more contaminated. So I discovered that this whole cancer thing for Jennifer was a reflection of her exit date. It was just taking her to her exit date. Now, if I had not known that, I would not have been able to change the cancer. And because it's part of the plan, you don't get a big flash. It's just, hey, do you really want to leave? You really want to leave? You just move into the leaving. But now that we are aware, we can ask with ourselves, with our family members, with our clients, does this person have an exit date soon? Because if they have an exit date within like 2 years, then you can be able to sit with him and say, it looks like you have an automatic exit date, expiration date, and it's maybe 2 years off. And so some of the things you're feeling in your physical body right now are to fulfill that exit date. It's not to scare them, but to give them choice. When I first started talking about this with clients, I was really reluctant, like, gosh, how do you say this to the person? But nevertheless, if I don't say it, what choice do they have? So then you can bring that to the client and say, whoops, it looks like what's going on here. It's not just a cause because your grandmother committed suicide and the energy's still here. also because, you know, you have this exit date. Now, I know that you've done a lot in your life. You've learned a lot. You're at this point in time where maybe you're complete with being here, and that's okay too. So they get to say, do I want to leave in 2 years or whenever? And if they do, they can also say, how do I want to leave? So instead of going like with the automatic going down into big disease and pain, they can restructure the exit, the way they're going to go out, to be able to go out having completed, feeling fulfilled, go to sleep and not wake up. They can leave at the same time. Or they can say, you know what, I'm just getting started here. No, I'm not ready to leave. I'm really just getting started. So then the tack is, great. Then we're going to end your life plan and we're going to work together to build a new life plan for you. Because when that exit date hits, past that point, there is no automatic connections, no growing into, I mean, there's nothing there. Oh, so it has to be totally redesigned, and it's a bigger redesign than when you're just changing a part of your journey. So that's what we found out for Jennifer. It was her way of getting out. I mean, it was her exit date, and the cancer was a part of that. Though, of course, now we start factoring in, do you want to stay or go? And of course, she's just getting started. She's got this new little grandbaby. She just moved to a new part of the country. She, you know, just reconnecting with daughter and son-in-law. No, she doesn't want to leave. So now, how, you know, putting together reality statements about what does she want then for her next life to be. It's like she's being born into the same body, but she has to come up with a plan to be as extensive or not extensive, but at least something. So that we can then start dismantling and saying no to end of life in 1.5 to 2 years. So that's what we were up against last year. She got, I kept getting on my flight into Tulsa, keep holding to plan A, keep holding to plan A, keep holding to plan A, and I did. So different signs along the way, and you'll understand, you'll get that too. You get those sometimes too, like, whoa, synergy. So what happened this year? We found out that by the time I left Tulsa last year, they weren't calling it cancer in the brain. They were calling it atypical cells. They were small, and they were going to monitor them and have been watching them until now. It's like they don't even speak of them. So whatever they've been doing is what they've been doing. So now we get Jennifer is having pains in her shoulder. Before I left, pains in her shoulder, lightheaded. They did a scan of her back. I think a CT scan of her spinal column, which is the fluid, I guess. And there's some atypical cells there. They're a little nervous about what's in the spinal fluid itself. Doesn't look like anything in the bone, in the spine, but spinal column fluid doesn't look so great. Liver's got a few unusual things on it. And so I wasn't going to go because I have not felt that the disease is going to take her out. So, you know, some of the family have felt like, got to go and say goodbye. It's been that intense when they talk to medical, you know, you better go while you can. But nevertheless, I just had a sense I had to go for a month, which I did, month and a week, I think. So they picked my granddaughter and daughter and grandson picked me up at the airport, and it's very clear that Jennifer looks a little bit whitish. And she's wobbly on her feet using a cane, which is, you know, she has done that periodically. Get her into bed. She clearly has had pain, has had like I said, lightheadedness. She's fallen a couple of times. They've made sure it's not, that she hasn't damaged her head. So get in on Sunday night and we put her in bed, and I said, before you go to bed, Jennifer, let me scan you like I showed you with a pendulum. So I started at the top of her head, back and forth, back and forth. And I said, here, here, here. She said, that's where the pain is. I said, okay. It was all up into this area. Okay, got that. Looked at the chakras, lightheadedness, and I think her chakra, her hara balance was in her thighs from, I think, maybe third eye down to maybe base was gone. Like it wasn't active. And again, in tag, the chakra energies are giving us messages. So it doesn't mean that those chakras are really off, or they're just saying we can't function. Whatever it is, there's a problem. So of course she would be lightheaded. So I said, okay, let's for tonight then, before you know, let's just do, I think we did a soul integration. Who knows why these energies are like they are? Because clearly something has impacted her, like a trigger impacted her energy. And because of the impact of the energy itself is all kittywampus. So we did a soul integration while she's in bed. I led her through it. I checked, everything looked better, and she felt a lot better, was able to go to sleep. So next morning, got up, and before she did much of anything, I said, how are you feeling? Lightheaded, a little bit of pain. Okay, then so we went through that whole protocol again. And, you know, within just maybe 30 seconds, all the energy is back where it should be, and she's feeling better. And so I would bet maybe 3 times during the morning, and she's up and around. It's not like she's laying around. She had hardly any energy. So we just kept applying, you know, lay down, let me scan you. You're feeling what? Let me scan you. Validated that what she was feeling was absolutely seen in the energy field. And then we do the soul integration. We activate the tag matrix, or she would do a reality statement and the Cook's hookup. We just applied those basic principles. And by the middle of that day, and from that point on for the next 2 days, she had no pain and she had no lightheadedness. Okay. Now she's been taking medications for the pain for months. So then I said, okay, so here, let's just make an agreement. And the thing that has happened to Jennifer, and again, it's not unusual. Jennifer wasn't that she wasn't into energy healing, that she wasn't, I mean, it wasn't her thing until she started this cancer. And now she's asking more questions, giving her more tools, etc. So I said, let's make an agreement that as soon as you feel lightheaded, or as soon as you feel pain, you apply XYZ, or call to me and we'll together apply XYZ. And we just did the basic. First of all, we just did the basic. Let's do the tag matrix, which includes the chakra mistress to activate the chakras and get them what's in the way. And the tag matrix system helps get rid of what caused it. So it's like an automatic clearing, bringing the PTO, etc. Because she loves adventure, we had decided, because she was supposed to have a PET scan, because they really wanted to see what was going on with the PET, which makes, what's that word, they give you radiation sugar or something, and it makes contrast. They want to see the contrast from her neck down to her groin. They wanted to see everything in there, which includes the spinal column and everything. So they wanted to see all of that. And she was going to have that 2 weeks after I got there. That was supposed to have happened several times before I got there, and it kept being delayed. And I said, Jennifer, let's just assume that it's been delayed because there's changes we can make energetically that will show up in the PET scan that would have been totally different 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago. We said, great. So we just appreciated that the PET scan kept getting delayed and then watched what happened when she used just some of the basic tag, activate the matrix. Sometimes we do a soul integration. Who knows why this is off, and go to the cause. Reality statements. If she, especially when she was feeling lightheaded, she would have a real simple reality statement that she kept using, and Cook's hookup, lying in bed before she'd get out of bed. Okay. And because she loves adventure, we decided we were going to go down and see the spiral mounds in Oklahoma, an hour and a half away. We figured that would be not too strenuous, get a little Airbnb, see these native mounds, which is quite a thing. And so we were going to take off following Sunday. So that week, she had the pain literally went away. The nausea, she had been having nausea, went away. Her lightheadedness went away. And if it started to come back, she would quickly do the work and it would go away. We knew we weren't just knocking off the top of the problem, but all of those processes take you to the cause. So we felt really good about that. Now, here's the other thing I really felt to add. In fact, we added something like it probably a year ago, and that's a vibrational from the outside in. Like if you've heard of the Rife machines, they still are around. I don't think Tesla ever made any of his vibrations into healing modalities, but Raymond Rife did. So she had ordered a wristwatch that was called the Apollo, and it was promoted as something that would kind of keep you calm, help you sleep. It was not about physical, but it has about 7 settings. And so we would use that. If there was a physical going on or anything going on, she would ask, what are the 7 settings to use? And she would activate that and it would be on her wrist. But I felt like we needed more than that. And so fortunately, just before I left, I heard about this application of Rife machines called the Healy, which was pretty compact and pretty extensive. I thought extensive enough. So I took that with me. So we added, it's called microcurrent. It's a microcurrent. And it's based on, I think I would call it truth. It's based on the fact that a healthy heart, for example, has a specific rhythm. A healthy liver has a specific rhythm. A healthy pancreas has a specific rhythm. You know, it has their own song. And so one of the things that Raymond Rife did is he determined what those frequencies were, megahertz, whatever, and put together this song for a healthy liver, healthy kidney, healthy, that you can then broadcast through the neurological system, the electrical system for that part of your body. So I took that with me. So in addition to what all of the tag that she had been doing and the good nutrition that she had been doing, she added also turkey tail mushroom, probably 2 weeks before I got there, because it's being used for cancer and many things. Thank you very much, Magnificent Fungi documentary. So she got that, she already had started that. And then we did what I was telling you we did. And then we had now the microcurrent, the Healy that we could use. It was pretty extensive. So what we did, probably on the 3rd day, we sat with her guides, because she has a healing team. And we said, what do you suggest? How many hours a day do you suggest she nap? Because she's really tired. She's been under a lot, as you would guess. How many hours should she nap? How many times should she use the Healy microcurrent and for how long? What do you suggest in relationship to her exercise? You know, in other words, we ask questions to put together from with the help of the advice of her team, what her program would look like. And so she found that it was surprising how many hours a day they told her to nap, but it gave her permission to nap instead of thinking she had to keep pushing through. And what I found was, and I would track her what the day was like. And so every other day she would be almost asleep all day long. I'd be the one making the food, making sure I had food. She had electrolyte water. She had, I was the one keeping that part going, keeping the house going, making sure the, clothes were washed, etc. Waking her up in order to do her Healy, whatever, when on those days when she couldn't. And the next day she'd be fine. Then we went to Spiro. And we got to Spiro. It was only an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes. We got there, we checked in. And that was Sunday afternoon. And by Monday, she could not hardly function. And so she was in bed sleeping. And we said, well, this will be a sleep day. So she got up, went to go to the bathroom, I think early Monday morning, and she fell in the bathroom. That's the first time I had seen the result. I didn't see her fall. She was on the ground, on the floor. That hadn't happened for like previous week. So we said, okay, then all we did is we swung back into what is it we don't know that's going on now that we may need to up our work on. Okay, so she was going to have an MRI. They wanted to see what was going on in her brain. So this was Sunday when she had fallen. We're in Spiro. We're there Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday coming home. And then Friday, she's going to have an MRI so they can see what's going on with her brain. And Thursday morning, Wednesday, because I'm on a call with a group called Freedom Truth Writers. And I can see over my computer into her bathroom, and I can see that she's in her bathroom, going to the bathroom, of course, but she's wobbly. And for some reason, I really felt it was important. I just got up, let the meeting go on. I went over to the bathroom. By the time I got to the bathroom, she was lightheaded. Then I saw her eyes just focused straight ahead, not seeing. And in that instant, it was like all the systems of her body's turned off and she dropped. So I was there, and as she's dropping, I'm catching her and helping her down onto the floor. And I'm not panicked because I figured this is what's happened. She hasn't known how it happened. She just knows she's lightheaded. Now she's on the floor, but I could see something had happened in her eyes. Click, down. Got her down, got her settled, and returned to the call. I said, okay, notice. And then it happened one more time during the day. And it wasn't exactly new, but yet her, I'm sorry, let me go back to the PET scan. The PET scan was on the Thursday before, remember? It's on the Thursday before. And when she went into the radiologist had already told her that they would probably have to do radiation on her spine or her and if they did that, the chances of being paralyzed were very high. And also using radiation in that area of the body impacts all the organs, so they couldn't guarantee what would happen to the other organs. He really, so she walks into the doctor's to see what the PET scan has said to her. And he said to her, he had the paper in report, and he said, you may want to frame this. And I sent that out to all of you. You may want to frame this, because what the report says is no malignancies noted. So that gave us hope. That gave us, like, okay, we're on the right track. Let's keep doing what we're doing. But now we have something different. Thursday, they're going to do a brain scan on Friday. I call her daughter and I said, the radiologist said, if you find that her legs stop working or her fingers stop working, anything that stops working, it may be an indication of some spinal stuff we're not seeing yet. So if that happens, get her to the hospital. We have 24 hours to stop any damage. I didn't think that was going on, but I'm not the one to make a decision. I call her daughter and say, what do you think? I don't think it's what he talked about. But she called the medical doctors, of course. They said, bring her to the hospital because we don't know either. So she's now in the hospital with MRI supposed to happen on Friday. They think now maybe that's a seizure. Long story short, all we did is we kept whatever showed up. We used the concepts, who knows, and scan the body. We put together a protocol that I won't be sharing in tag 1 because you've got enough for what you're doing, but we definitely will be talking about it, using it in the tag 3, but scan the body so that any of those hot spots, we don't have, we can get them in massive amounts. And so the consequence is that she didn't have the MRI on Friday. We went, okay, good, then more work. We'll just keep doing more and more work. She had the MRI on Monday. She had the MRI, she had an EGG, she had an ultrasound, maybe something else, I don't remember. And they don't know what the hell's going on because there's nothing there. She asked specifically about the atypical on the liver because they were concerned about that a year and a half ago. They said it's diminished, they're smaller. They don't know why. She will continue with, because with that type of cancer, you're on chemo for the rest of your life, or as long as your life is. And they test every 3 months, and it's an excellent cancer. They're going to have cancer. You got to have an excellent team. And she's got an excellent team. She met with her regular doctor today. She met with her oncologist last Monday. And all that, they're just going to do she has an infusion every 6 weeks. And we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. I have not asked her, but I don't think she would be comfortable in any way saying no chemo. She's not comfortable with that. But what we're doing is the reality statement that says everything that enters my body partners with all of the components to make my body stronger, stable, holding a long life of joy. Okay. And we saw what happened when we forgot to include everything that comes into my body partners with. So she took oxycodone, I think, one day, I don't know, a week or so before I left, because she was I think I need a pain thing for this one thing. And she got really, really sick. And we said, what's going on? And they said, well, oxycodone is a power over element. It's not a power with. So if you're going to use things like that, you have to ask that codes, formulas be put on those drugs to make it a partnering with, rather than the power over. So that's what we're working now, is to be very clear about everything that enters her body adds value in a partnering way with all the different components. And continuing with periodic scans. Another thing we added is we recognize that pain, of course, is and lightheadedness are the two things she feels before anything else gets worse. Those are the first signals. And the tag processes have really helped her stop those quickly. But we've added one component that comes out of a research study out of Portland, maybe that what to do with people who have ongoing pain and don't want to stay on drugs, or maybe can't stay on drugs because you can't anymore really much. And what they found was peppermint, medicinal peppermint essential oil, breathing that within 30 seconds takes that fear, anxiety, that puts you into a cycle of pain, calms it down. So she added carrying peppermint oil with her everywhere. So if she feels in any way a pain or lightheaded, the first thing she does is just brings out her peppermint oil and smells it. And then continuing with the work. So that's kind of where she's at. And again, doctors, there's nothing that they can see that's problematic, except they don't trust, because they know, medical knows, that cancer sleeps in the body. Well, as we know, anything that is a seed of disease or a seed of not malfunction or a seed of domestic violence, whatever the seeds are, they sleep in our bodies, they sleep in our dimensions, and they will show up. So that's why we do the work we do, is to not only get what's showing up, but to go after and be proactive and pull out and eliminate what's hiding. So she's still on that journey and ought to be, I think. Okay, well, that's me. 5 o'clock. If any quick questions, anything you want to say, open for that.
Wow.
It's exactly what you guys started. Like you talked about the power of this work in your life, and with Jennifer, because of where she's at, anybody who is dealing with something that's very in your face physical, like I could die tomorrow or whatever, you just up the ante. And sometimes you can't, well, not sometimes, most of the time you cannot do it alone. You know, if you're really struggling, either disease or domestic violence or mental illness, you can't do it alone. So having somebody in your life or a community in your life is extremely valuable.
That was amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for, it was fun letting you watch some of the demonstrations because I wanted you to see, in-person stuff too.
Heller, thank you for allowing us to watch.
I will. I'll pass that along to her.
What did her doctor say?
Her doctor says that they don't know what's going on. They see nothing that causes seizures. They don't see any malignancy. They're not going to suggest she not do chemo, because they're not saying she has no cancer, because that's, cancer is somewhere, maybe. They're just going to do the infusions, and they're going to check every 3 months, just like they have been doing.
Have you told the doctors you're doing woo-woo on her?
She was prepared to say that to them, and they didn't ask, what are you doing differently? And I think that's totally good. With my daughter Carolyn, we had a doctor, but I wanted to take over her feeding because she had such severe pancreatitis, in a coma, etc. She was dying from the pancreatitis. I said, can we take over her feeding, because we'd put together stuff that they didn't have access to. And the only reason he let me do that is because she was dying and starving to death. But this is what he said, and most doctors wouldn't. I cannot in any way affirm that what you're going to be doing is going to help her. But what I hear, and from what I know, it won't hurt her. But I think a lot of doctors would tell you that it wouldn't help their knowledge. I don't think most doctors would expand and say, oh, maybe that would be good for somebody else. Turkey tail, was interesting that they said, yeah, go ahead and do turkey tail. But yeah, she was prepared to tell them about that and about microcurrent, but they didn't ask. Tara?
So my dog is taking turkey tail, by the way. So interesting when you say that. I agree. There's a lot of medical doctors that are afraid of all this stuff because they weren't taught it. When I did my research study when I was in school, I did it on oncology patients because my belief was a lot of medical providers are completely unknowing to all the benefits of holistic treatments. And so I went to a place that did integrative treatment for cancer patients, and I interviewed a whole bunch of them, and, you know, had all these modalities down that they had tried. And I think acupuncture was number one for many of them. And there was a whole bunch of things. And so number of patients there told me that their other oncologists, before they ended up going here, said, I'm not gonna help you anymore. I'm firing you as a patient because you are doing alternative things in addition to this. It's like, you know, if that's what your client wants, maybe you should research it and work with them and see what happens, instead of sitting here being too afraid of it or whatever. It's just all about money for a lot of them, you know, unfortunately. So, but that's amazing what you said. And I really appreciate what you were talking about, the microcurrent. So I want to look into that for sure.
I'll send it any of you. I'll just send a link out. The one I found, and I really liked it. It was really, I found it really affordable, and it has a lot of programs. It's more programs, I think, than we would ever need. It's not, there's a professional grade, but this one works really well and very easy to use.
Could there be an entity or something involved that's just like shutting down her systems randomly?
They're always, oh yeah, you never give, they're always there. And we included those. That's part of the work. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's part of the work. Whenever, yeah, they're there always when there's vulnerability. So even in the hospital, we made sure that in the hospital itself, while we were there, we were really six-fold on everything. And while she's doing the microcurrent, because the current is giving healthy frequencies, she's also bringing in her healing team to heal whatever those healthy energies are bringing up that aren't healthy. So she's putting programs together. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing we did, it was really helpful. I mean, I use cards moderately. I've used them in the past, cards or tarot or the destiny cards, but I took this with me. I didn't know why. I took this with me. And so every day we would pull a card for the day. And I found it extremely helpful for her, especially because the advice was right on, and she could say, oh, I remember the card said, readjust my thinking, you know, or whatever it was. So that was another. So anything, you know, that integrated approach, the integration of a lot of different modalities. So that was really helpful too, just as an extra support, I think, for mindset shift. Okay, loves. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And you know, for some, this is enough. For others, we add more, and for others, we add more. So when you get to a point, you go like that, I don't know what to do more, and there's still stuff, then ask. We'll bring the more to the table for you. But we've got to start somewhere, and this is where we are in TAC 1. Okay, I love you all.
Thank you.
Until we meet again, huh? Bye.
Love you.
Thanks,
Thank
Sharon.
you.
Bye-bye.